It's time for an episode of Wild Flavors. My name is Brenda Weatherby and welcome to my kitchen. Tonight we are going to make an elk pizza, so Italian meets wild game in the kitchen. We're going to be making a fresh thin crust pizza dough and then topping it with some of your favorite toppings, but the main event is the elk brisket. So if you've seen a previous episode, you already saw how I made the elk brisket. Comes together very nicely, and we can use it in a myriad of different recipes. So first we're going to start with the pizza dough. I've got my cup, or 3/4 of a cup of lukewarm water and the yeast and sugar. So we're going to just pour that in, give it a quick little stir, and it's going to get to be a little bit foamy. We'll let that sit for just a second. While we do, we're going to take the barbecue sauce, pick your favorite, and the sweetness or spiciness of it, and the tomato paste. And we are going to just kind of incorporate that. That's going to be our pizza sauce. So if any of you grew up loving barbecue chicken pizza, this is a slight variation on that. So we have the barbecue sauce and tomato paste, which will make our perfect sauce. Red onion, mushroom, and cilantro. We also have the mozzarella cheese and an Assaggio Parmesan. So it's going to be amazing. We'll go back to our water and yeast, and now we'll just pour that into our flour. Note, you can use just regular flour. I always do about a 3/4 mixture of white flour to seminola flour, which is an Italian flour. I just think it's better that way, but if you don't have that on hand, don't worry about it. Here in Sheridan, I have to order that online. I can't find it practically anywhere, so. Okay, so we're gonna mix it with a spoon until we can't any longer. And then we will just get out the good old-fashioned hands and make this into a soft dough. I always have extra flour waiting because no matter how great you measure, you always need a little more flour. So, okay, let me get this into a ball. A lot of pizza doughs you have to like let rise and all that. And I just find that I decide I'm making pizza too late in the day to do all that fuss. So this is just an easy recipe for a thin crust pizza. I used to be a thick crust pizza person, but when I went to Italy, they sold me on the idea that thin crust is the way to go. They also won me on don't put too many toppings on it. Let the flavors of the cheese be the main event. So us Americans, we tend to over topping our pizza, which I guess is debatably good or bad, but okay. Depending on how thin you want it or how many people you have to feed, make your size however you like. See how easy that was? Like super easy, like make it in just a few minutes. So I'm gonna transfer this to the board, carefully fold in half. Ooh, it's a little sticky, so. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna make the pizza on this, and then we can easily slide this onto the baking stone that's preheating in the oven. Okay, so first we will grab my spoon. We're just going to, this is all personal preference of how much sauce you want. Hope I made enough there. Again, the Italians would tell you less is better, but we want to taste that barbecue sauce on there. A little bit more. Actually, that's about perfect. Okay. I think that works. Okay, so we're going to do a little layer of the mozzarella. Kind of a debate where you put the cheese and where you put the toppings, but I've been told the toppings in the middle with a little bit under and a little bit over is the way to go. So we're gonna do that today. We'll do a little Parmesan as well. Our elk. You know, when you actually harvest an elk, you know, you have to be a little bit creative. It's a lot of meat to eat in a year, especially if you're like my family. Last year we got 3 elk. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's a lot of meat. Giving away lots to family and friends, and cook some for the employees. Actually, this Friday we're doing a big barbecue. I'm gonna cook elk burgers for them. So you gotta have some variety of recipes that you can do with elk. You can't just, you know, barbecue it every time and make elk spaghetti, right? So this is a great way to use some of that elk. You can also do it with any other cut of meat, deer, whatever. Okay, we're gonna do some red onion. I try to slice this really thin because it's really good if you get some red onion in every bite. But if it's not thin enough, then sometimes it's too overpowering. Like that one's probably too thick. We'll get a little thinner ones. Okay, mushrooms, because I like mushrooms on anything. And of course, the cilantro. We'll do a little bit of this and a little bit on top too, but barbecue chicken pizza or barbecue elk pizza has to have that cilantro with that barbecue flavor. Okay, and then we'll top it with a little bit more pizza or a little more cheese. It's definitely getting to be high here. The Italians would probably tell me I've overdone it, but I think we're gonna find it to be delicious. Okay, and I'm gonna do a little more Parmesan top. I like that salty finish to it. Oh wow, that looks pretty amazing. Okay, I think we're ready. Is all good to you guys? I think so. Let's do it. Okay, so this is a little bit of a hard transfer. We're gonna have a hot pizza stone that's been preheated in the oven for 30 to 40 minutes. So it's gonna be very hot. I hope I don't tumble this into the oven, but we'll do our best getting that on the pizza stone. All right, fresh out of the oven. It cooked for about 10 minutes, 12 minutes on that 500 degrees with the preheated baking stone. So if you have that, it's gonna give that bottom of that crust a real good crisp texture, as well as the perfect golden brown on top. Okay. Okay. It's even better than barbecue chicken pizza. It's awesome. You'll love it. Has a sweet barbecue flavor with that elk, shredded elk, all your fine Italian cheeses. It's amazing. Hope next time you go to make your homemade pizza that you try it with elk. Thanks for joining me for Wild Flavors, and we'll see you next time.